Hi, I'm Bentaro Rifarashi. The transcription I was just playing was Benny Golson's saxophone line from his tune Stablemates, which is a well-known jazz standard. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can take a little part of that and make exercises out of it so that it becomes a part of your language. Once you've transcribed the line, beyond the initial satisfaction of having completed the task, what are you going to do with it? Well, you want it to become hopefully a part of your own language, but that's very, very difficult to do with big chunks of material. So we're going to take a tiny little piece of it and look at how we can work with it so that it can become part of our language in an improvisatory sense, but also in a compositional sense when it comes to groove playing and things like that. The part I'm going to be looking at is this part that he played over an A flat minor chord. But I'm going to start by moving it up a semitone so that it's A minor. This makes it a little bit easier to talk about. So what's going on? If I'm in A minor, then this is C, E, G, B, which is the minor third, fifth, seventh, and the ninth. Let's think about manipulating that phrase so that I can start on the root, the fifth, or the seventh as well. So if I'm in A minor, here is my A, and I would play A, C, E, G, which is now, keeps the shape of the line, but it's now the root, third, fifth, and seventh, as opposed to the third, fifth, seventh, and ninth. If I keep going, I get to the fifth, which is E, and I get E, G, B, D, which is the fifth, seventh, ninth, and 11th of A minor. And if I go further still, I get to the seventh, which would be G, and I get 7, 9, 11, and 13. That's assuming I'm using the Dorian mode. It would be on a natural minor, but I'm going to stick with Dorian right now. So I had root, third, fifth, seventh, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, fifth, seventh, ninth, 11th, and seventh, ninth, 11th, 13th. So how can I use those in a groove setting? So how can I take those four phrases that are really just one phrase manipulated to different areas of the same arpeggio? How can I use them in a groove? Well, it makes a lot of sense to use it as a fill. If I'm playing a simple A minor kind of a line, I'm manipulating the rhythm of this phrase to add some interest, but one of the reasons it stuck in my mind was its shape. The reason I chose this part was this seemed like a really non-bass player thing to play. It's a very saxophone way of playing, and I like that. I like to take ideas from different instruments and incorporate them. So obviously this kind of swinging vibe was how it works in the original recording, but I'm now manipulating it rhythmically as well. I'm using that shape to kind of create new material so that it's already becoming a part of my language. But how could we take it further? Well, it's an A minor. What if it were A major 7? What would change? What would stay the same? Looking at it from the root, I'd have root, third, fifth, seventh. So whereas before I had A, C, E, G, now I've got A, C sharp, E, G sharp, so that it fits the tonality. If I were to start the phrase from the third, where it originally started, I would have third, fifth, seventh, ninth. If I were to go from the fifth, I would have fifth, seventh, ninth, sharp 11, because I'm using the Lydian rather than the major scale. And then if I was to go from the seventh, I would have 7, 9, sharp 11, 13. Another great way to practice this kind of thematic material is to work it through the arpeggio. So if I go backwards through the A major 7, I'll start on the 7th, an octave up. Would work well as a fill, wouldn't it? quite busy for a fill. Maybe it works a little bit better improvisationally. The important thing is to make it your own, to make it part of your language. And the best way to do that is to play with it, to mess around with it, to manipulate its tonality, to change its rhythm slightly, to squeeze it into a groove. Now, initially, this is going to sound and feel quite forced, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with the material, like learning a new word from a dictionary. You're going to squeeze that word in everywhere, you're going to sound kind of awkward, but after a while, you find a natural way to use it. And the same is going to happen here. Of course, there are more chord qualities than minor 7 and major 7. There's many more, I don't need to make a list. So what I would suggest you do is take this simple pattern and apply it to other chord qualities. And in the PDF that goes with this lesson, there are some exercises written out with 5 or 6 different chord qualities for you to work it through and get comfortable with it. But the important thing is play with it, make it your own. Once you're comfortable with the phrase on a few different tonalities and starting on a few different chord tones, it's time to start moving it through a chord sequence. So I'm going to use the first 8 bars of Autumn Leaves to demonstrate this, which is A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B dominant 7, E minor to E dominant 7. So how am I going to do that? Let's start by using the phrase the same way Kenny Golson did, starting from the 3rd. So this is on A minor. Next chord was D dominant 7. Then G major 7. Then C major 7. Then F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Then B dominant 7. I'm going to change this, I'm going to alter it a little bit and give it a sharp 5 and a flat 9. More tension for a stronger resolution to a minor chord. Then E minor, followed by E dominant 7. But if I just play that straight through, it's pretty dull to listen to like that, but it's just an exercise. But I can make it more interesting and learn a lot from understanding how to join it together. And to do that, I'm going to use chromatic enclosures and scale runs. If we think about the phrase, it starts on beat 1. 1, 2, 3. So I've got a bit of space at the end before I hit the target note on the start of the next bar. So how much space have I got? Let's figure it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and I've got 3 eighth notes to play with. Da, 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 before the next note is the downbeat. So let's think about that. I'm going da, 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 and here F sharp is my target note. So G is part of the chord of A minor, it's the 7th, and so is E. So I could make a little passing tone to the F sharp. So I've made a chromatic enclosure by starting a semitone above the target note and doing a double chromatic approach from below. But that note is also part of A. So how does it sound? Now it sounds like a pretty fluent phrase. Where's my next target note? It's the 3rd of G. So I'm up here. I'm just going to descend the scale. I'm going down da, 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 the major scale of G. Where's my next target note? It's E, the major 3rd of C. So I was here. Da, 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 da. Well, I can make the exact same enclosure I did with the D chord because I'm going for a major 3rd. So I'm a semitone above and a double chromatic approach from below. So all together in context, A minor, D7, G major 7. Did that note work? Not so much. The reason is because the C should be Lydian, because in this setting it's the 4 chord, so I should have used F sharp rather than F natural. So let's hear how that sounds. Descend the scale onto the 3rd of F sharp. Now from the 3rd of F sharp, I'm going to ascend the Locrian mode, F sharp. So I'm still in the key of G here, G major. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Now that's my major 3rd of B. And I'm going to I've added a bit more rhythm there. I've put a triplet in so I can add some notes. I've kind of altered this. Sharp 5, 7, flat 9, sharp 9, major 3rd. And I've altered those notes to add tension for a stronger resolution onto the minor chord. So how have I descended there? Da, do, da, do. Well, I've gone 3rd, flat 9, 7th, sharp 11 onto the 3rd of E minor. And here, just at the end, I've added a triad from the 3rd, which gives me 7th, 5th, 3rd, which resolves me back up to the major 3rd for the dominant chord. So, altogether I've got Let's hear how that sounds in context. So there it is. From one tiny little idea, we've got a whole lot of work to do. Don't forget to pick up the free transcription link underneath. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya!